of the Garden Report. Shams Charania reporting today on the eve of the NBA draft that the Celtics and Wizards have discussed the framework of a trade that would send Kristaps Porzingis to Boston in a opt-in and trade. Porzingis, of course, considering by the end of this month a 1-year, $36 million player option that would set him up for free agency next summer. That would allow the Celtics or any team to trade for him without hard capping themselves, which is important because if Porzingis does decline that option and enter free agency, he cannot effectively come to Boston on a sign and trade. It would hard cap Boston, too complicated to even think about that. But if he does opt in, which I think he will, I don't think there's a strong market out there for him this summer, and this is how he can angle his way to a new team that would retain his bird rights. Makes sense to me. Now, Porzingis coming off a huge year, nearly all NBA year, if not for Sabonis, shot 38% from three, 23 points per game, big rebounding, big shot blocking season. I loved his game last year in Washington, played the drop, which, of course, Boston would love positioning him in at that center spot, would move Al Horford back to the forward, defending the pick and roll and perimeter guys, which I like. And Robert Williams would continue playing off the bench, I would assume, because I don't think they would trade either of those players for Porzingis in this. To me, this goes hand in hand with breaking up the guard position right now, which Malcolm Brogdon's salary would go the furthest toward matching Porzingis' $36 million. And then the most complicated way to do it would be sign and trading Grant to Washington, which he would need to want to do. You'd be negotiating numbers in that position. So I don't think that's how this will go. You can either trade with Brogdon something like Muscala and Gallinari, or Gallinari and Pritchard, which would leave you a little thin at guard at that point. I would think if they're trading Brogdon at this point, it would be to keep Pritchard and sign him long term on an extension. He is extension eligible this summer. So do I like this? It's intriguing. Porzingis fits their defense. He'd be great protecting the rim, and he would solidify the center position in a astounding way. He can hit the three alongside Horford, so he can play big and space the floor. But massive usage player, ball's always in his hands. How will that go playing next to Brown and Tatum? I struggle to imagine it. And I think at least $120 million coming his way next summer. How do you make that work in combination with the Jaylen Brown Supermax extension here? I don't see it. So I do think there's a bigger deal to be made here with the Bradley Beal trade. Muscala, Gallinari go out to Phoenix as needed depth out there alongside Malcolm Brogdon. Phoenix reportedly interested in Brogdon, as previously reported, and DeAndre Ayton to Washington to further compensate the Wizards for that Bradley Beal deal while facilitating Porzingis' way out of Washington. Some picks changed hands there, maybe. I don't think Boston would be sending out any picks in this scenario, but it'll be interesting to watch how this develops. It feels like a lot of moving parts as the Beal trade concludes. Porzingis opts in this scenario, and Kyle Kuzma opted out of his deal in Washington yesterday. So the Wizards still picking up the pieces after the Bradley Beal trade. Celtics trying to improve their roster. An intriguing, creative way to do it here. We're brought to you by FanDuel.com/Boston. Head over there to get a no sweat bet up to $1,000 when you make your first wager when you sign up here in Massachusetts. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. No sweat first bet up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Factor Meals. FactorMeals.com/Garden50 to get 50% off your first box. Minutes to make your meals when Factor Meals. Get them right to your door and get on with your summer. That's FactorMeals.com/Garden50. And Athletic Greens. athleticgreens.com, you know them, 75 vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, and more when you head over there. That's athleticgreens.com/garden. Your supply of vitamin D, 5 free travel packs as well when you make your first purchase over there. athleticgreens.com/garden. I'm Bobby Manning. This has been the news edition of the Garden Report.